Welcome to today's Rink Report. It's being brought to you by Ohio Credit Union. I'm Bob McElligott along with Jody Shelley, and today is Game 3 of the series between the Blue Jackets and the Tampa Bay Lightning, their Stanley Cup quarterfinal series that is tied at 1 game apiece. Jody, first and foremost, a night game, which has not happened yet in this series, so the guys will actually have an entire day to prepare.
Yeah, isn't it strange, even for us, Bob? Usually by now we're thinking about, early afternoon, you head to the rink, but I like it. I mean, the Blue Jackets had a day off yesterday to decompress. They did have a little video, but this seems like an extended period after that fast and furious start to this series and the end of the last series. So, yeah, different day for everyone, but I think it's going to be good. You know, Saturday night hockey is always fun, and this is a heck of a series.
Heck of a series indeed. And in Game 2, the Lightning came out and really put the pressure on the Blue Jackets. They had more jump. They had more shots. They had more goals at one point in time. But then once the Blue Jackets settled in after their penalty kill, they took over the game. How important is it not to let Tampa get that early jump today? That's not a good game plan, right, to fall behind in every game you play?
Well, I am mixed on that because I think Tampa softens up once they get the first goal. I think it's hard for them to maintain that level. So absolutely it's not a game plan for the Blue Jackets to give up the first goal. But if the Blue Jackets get on their game right away, I like what you're saying. Get on your game, play that brand of hockey that you need to play from the puck drop, not after a penalty kill and 10 minutes in, because if you listen to John Tortorella yesterday, he said, you know, if they get that second goal, who knows what happens. But Korpisalo played well. You got to be careful. You're playing with fire. It's exactly what you're saying, is that you don't want to give them the lead and give them momentum. I think that that's a smart team that can learn from what they did last game. In fact, that they got the first goal and softened up. So what you're saying, I agree with. Yes, the Blue Jackets have got to not go in there and ease into the game. They've got to play immediately with that stout, frustrating style as a team and really just pick up the rhythm they play with for the last 50 minutes of game number 2.
Joonas Korpisalo has been incredible in the series so far, without a doubt. He's made over 120 saves in the first 2 games. But I do want to ask you, even though that number is extremely high, and it's not a comfortable number if you're a coach by any means, but how many of those shots are coming from areas where the Blue Jackets absolutely want them to come from? They want them from the outside. They want the lane cleared in front of the goaltender. How many of those shots are ones that when you look back and you break it down, you go, that's not bad. If you're going to get a shot, take it from there.
I mean, I would guess about 100 are from good areas of 120, and that's a big number. I'm not talking about a month's work. I'm talking about 2 hockey games here. Exactly. The Blue Jackets are taking away the interior of the ice, not allowing those big players for the Tampa Bay Lightning to come in, load up with their shots. You know, there's little fakes. There's efforts by Point and Kucherov for sure, and Hedman to change the angle and trying to get shots through, trying to create off rebounds. It's not there. So the Blue Jackets sticks and positioning and just work ethic to get in the way is keeping them on the outside. And plus, a big indicator is rebound chances. You know, the Blue Jackets with a couple goals last game, Murray diving in at the net, Wemberg diving in at the net. You're not seeing that a lot from Tampa because the Blue Jackets are keeping them really to the outside, and there's no chance to get body position on the inside. They're doing an excellent job in front of Korpisalo.
Yeah, and when there are rebounds, those guys they just sweep them away. I'll tell you, to be honest with you, even against Toronto, whether Seth Jones, Ryan Murray, Dean Kukin, Zach Werenski, those guys, and I didn't even talk about the 2 that are staunch defending defensemen. Yeah. But they just make it look so easy finding those rebounds and clearing them away from the front of the net. And, I know they're pros, but for goodness sake, in playoff games when guys are crashing the net and there's players from the other team all around, that's not easy.
No, and you think about this defensive core and you watch David Savard go out and do what he does. And he battles and he does anything for the team. He's a team-first guy in his approach and his ability. And if you watch Seth Jones go out there and do it, those are 2 great examples. And I look at a guy like Gavrikov, who's in his first full season here, and he's really adapted well. And it happened right away. But when he watches these players, when he sees these guys do this, Zach Werenski too, there's moments where, you might not take that extra step to get back, but now it's ingrained in all 6 of these defensemen that play. and anyone that gets in the lineup to play that way in front of their goaltender. I love the communication with Savard and Korpisalo. It seems like almost every shift, Savard is he's almost to a pinpoint level where when he blocks a shot, he is very aware of where he is on the ice and what Korpisalo has to cover up and what he'll cover up. And very rarely do pucks get by him. So this is a very well-oiled back end, and it works as a great tandem to keep pucks away from that blue paint. And then you add the center iceman in the back and the wingers who are committed. It's tough to get to, and it seems like, Bob, the closer Tampa and Toronto get to the blue paint, the more chaos, the more cluster, the tougher the job gets. It's a lot like golf. When you get closer to the hole, it's harder to get, right? It's harder to play.
I don't know. I got to get out of the trees at like 200 yards.
Yeah.
So
by
the time I get there, I'm actually like, I don't know, I can see it anyway. Yeah, you mentioned Gavrikov, and I want to ask you this about him because I was just thinking about, you take for granted that it's really his first full year in the National Hockey League, but this guy has fit in so well. And, when you talk to Jarmo and the scouting staff here, it's very important to have skill, obviously, but the other things that are important to these guys are, the personality, the personal makeup of these players, and also their hockey IQ. And I think on those two things, they hit it perfectly with Vladislav Gavrikov. I mean, he's a very likable teammate. He's a fun guy, and he goes out there and just plays his butt off.
He's got a great pregame handshake going on, too. There. I don't know if you've caught it on social media, but if you haven't, pick it up. It's pretty good. He's having a good time before he gets out on the ice. When you talk to David Savard about Gavrikov, it's a perfect fit because Gavrikov doesn't try to be perfect, but once he makes up his mind on a decision, he goes all in. It's everything is going toward. If he's going to throw a stick check, everything in his mind and his body is going towards a stick check, and there's no in between. And that's such a key for a teammate. Even if I know you're doing the wrong thing, at least I know, I have to stand back because he's gone way out of his way to do something he shouldn't do. And I think that's important, and that's a great attribute with Gavrikov, and it's easy not to be that way, especially when you come to a new team, a new system, and a new ice surface. I mean, he played in Russia for years, so I like the way he has no hesitation. I know his teammates do too, and that's part of his character. He knows he's not going to be perfect, and I think that's kind of the charm that his teammates like.
How important is it that Oliver Bjorkstrand seems like he is getting hot? As John Tortorella says, once he gets going, he's a very streaky guy. He now has 2 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, 3 game winners in 3 games he's played against Tampa, and all of his game winners has come against one organization. It's remarkable the names that are in that list. And he's a guy that is so streaky, and he was getting chances, but he didn't seem comfortable until he got that first goal in game number 2. So for the Blue Jackets, game number 1, for the Blue Jackets to have him going is key. He's dangerous. He's dangerous every time he's got the puck, especially below the tops of the circles. We know he likes to be fed in some areas. Dubois understands the way he plays. So, yeah, for him to go, it's massive. Now they need to get guys going like Texier, who leads the team with shots at 22. He's a young player, but it's time to expect something from all those chances. I think Seth Jones with 1 goal, need to see a little more out of him. And I know Orensky's scored 2, but when you play all that time, you can't just go out there and defend and not generate. It's time to generate for some of these players if the Blue Jackets want to take the next step.
And I think that would really change a lot of things in this series, don't you? If all of a sudden those blue liners start finding the back of the net, that gives Tampa something else that they've got to worry about.
Yeah, I think you shrug off the secondary scoring a little bit if you're Tampa because they haven't had many good goals at all. Their goals are really breakdowns and bounces. The point goal, the game winner was a beauty, but earlier a deflection off the back of his legs. Kucherov scores from below the goal line. Those are the guys that are supposed to score. And Tampa doesn't have that going, and the Blue Jackets had it last game. Wenberg, can you believe we're saying he's secondary scoring? Ryan Murray would be a top 2 D-man on any other team, but not expected to score in the big moment. It's a bonus for those guys to get it done. So, yeah, if Seth Jones becomes a threat and their defensive zone starts spinning on him, look out. Because Zach Werenski, too, we saw that shot, but we need to see it more. He needs to get that on net more and be more of a threat out there.
Last thing, how can the Tampa Bay Lightning change their mindset and not get frustrated by what the Blue Jackets are doing? Because it was very obvious, especially when it went 3-1, that they were frustrated, that they looked like last year. They didn't know what to do, and they did nothing. They could not come back in that game. How do they find their even temperament?
Well, I think they've got enough tape from game one and the style that they played, which I was pretty impressed with how detailed they were with defense, keeping the puck along the wall, using their size to their advantage. You know, the puck in the middle of the ice in the offensive zone for them, it's not working. So look for them to try to generate from the outside and creep from behind the goal line maybe, or generate something off long shots, not even on net. So they've got a good mindset. They have a team that's built to play a heavy game. But they'll have to be very patient against the Blue Jackets, because the Blue Jackets, they're comfortable at 0-0 all throughout the game, and they don't care how many periods you have to play. So it's a team that's learned from its lack of scoring this season, comfortable winning games, and, of course, that all-important third goal is a key for the Blue Jackets, minus the one game against the Toronto Maple Leafs, of course. But, hey, that happens. That's an anomaly.
Yeah, good point about, shooting wide of the net. We saw Victor Hedman do that a number of times in the first two games of this series. Yeah. Lively end boards in Toronto. I don't know if it's quite like Joe Louis Arena lively, but it comes off there pretty good. So if they can bounce it off there and get the Blue Jackets scrambling and get the puck back out in front, could be a huge advantage. Tonight's game gets underway at 7:30. Jody has it over on Fox Sports Ohio. I've got it on the Blue Jackets radio network. So we look forward to seeing which team takes a lead in this series, because somebody's going to do that tonight. That'll do it for the Rink Report. It's been brought to you by Tel Ohio Credit Union. For Jody Shelley, I'm Bob McElligott. Enjoy the game.